Okay, this will be a review video of the GCAD trade that I took and I guess why it failed. So starting out, we are in a bullish trend, marked out the most recent highs and lows from the macro perspective. We saw the shift here of the structural point from this low, but really I guess it wasn't really a low here. It was more so like internal liquidity because that's low, high. We have a liquidity draw that generated this structural point that led to the creation of this high, and then we got a pullback into the latter part or the deeper part of this price gap here, which this trade was based off of, and that led me to looking at these positions. I had a position earlier, or I talked about in this area, and then I told you guys that it should have been based off of this sponsored candle. If it wasn't on the 2 hour or the 1 hour sponsored candle, yeah, it was the 1 hour sponsored candle, tapped 50% and then waited for the transition of price action to give an opportunity based off of my models. So in this particular case, I was looking for a area of interest response model. So this is based off of the 1 hour sponsored candle. We drove higher, mitigated previous high here of the internal I guess price action, the microstructural price action that happened here. And once I see the origin of the move, seeing that all of this price action here was pretty much accounted for, I don't see anything that would immediately warrant any assessment for entries in this area. It all seemed pretty well, managed. And so once that occurred, I see that we have the high here as a form of a break of structure that generated this price gap. So I entered off of 50% of what was inside of this on a lower time frame. And I believe this was reduced to, a 30-minute price gap just below the break of structure, which is, what I would want to see. I mean, I do see this price gap above it, but I would like to see the origin of the move be generated before price breaks a previous structural point or transitions on the microstructure here. And so that's why I entered off of this 30-minute price gap here. And you can see it tapped 50%, gave a little bit of entry, then it pretty much filled 100% of the gap and gave the response to take out this high, and now price has seemingly pulled back. It hasn't reversed just yet. It's still respecting this overall sponsored candle, or this area of interest, I should say. But it decided to forego continuing price action higher, stopping me out of the position that I was in here off this 30-minute price gap. Was a pretty well positioned play. It didn't break even on this. I don't move my stop loss to break even. I let the risk be what it is because I set the risk, comfortable with the risk, and comfortable with the play playing out. So now let's see why this is failing. Looking at it from the macro perspective, the only thing that I can think of is two possible scenarios where price is just, having a response and it's still range bound inside of this local leg here. Because it couldn't reach higher to take out this liquidity, or move towards taking out liquidity on the premium side of the leg, it had to come back and refuel, and that led to a draw of liquidity on this internal low here. That's the only thing that I can think of at this moment for the reason price decided to come back and take out this low. And I guess because there was a lot of liquidity generated inside of here leading to the release, so now I'm expecting price to continue the run higher to take out not only this specific, liquidity point inside of this leg, but ultimately we'll see if this continues the bullish trend and take out the high. If not, then this should be the start of the break of structure, essentially, or the price action to take out the structural point, shifting our structure from a bullish run to a bullish range, which would exist from this low up to this high. Or another thing that I'm thinking about right now is this could be a potential move here where we have a liquidity draw or an action occur. So if we take out this low here in the form of a liquidity draw, then that would just shift our structural point, and then there would be opportunities to continue price action here. But if it was in the form of a break of structure, then that would solidify the range globally from this low to this high, in which I don't really see any opportunities to buy here. So we'll see what happens from there. But as of right now, to be completely honest, this was a, a random trade that I took. I just saw opportunity on GCAD. I was thinking about it one night. I was like, what if I traded GCAD one time, and it gave, a solid opportunity, but ultimately ended up failing, or the opportunity that I had ended up failing. And so if you want to track this further, I guess check the price action that goes on after this move at the time of this recording until whenever you're looking at it. I'm not going to really track this anymore. I'm actually going to get rid of all of my markups here and let GCAD be. I'm going to primarily focus on the major trading pairs of Forex, and then obviously my indices and futures trades. So yeah, that's it for the GCAD trade review. A little disappointing, but understandable. Yeah, that's just part of the game. Peace.